and Shanghai, People's Republic of China.
Would you say a word about what you've seen across the world?
I was in China last week.
Do you see what is happening right before our eyes? Second coming of the Lord. In a coming day, Jesus Christ will return to the earth as the millennial Messiah, or the second coming.
Travis Wayne Goodsell. When a crime is committed, it is important to have investigators look beyond the crime scene itself. Just looking at the crime scene does not give you the big picture of what happened. You have to go back in time as far as necessary to find the causation. You need to find the perpetrators. You need to identify the victims. Not just what happened in every single detail, using forensic science to recognize the blood splatter pattern, contents in the blood, the wounds on the body, the trajectories of penetration, etc. You got to go back in time. After identifying the victim, identifying the perpetrator, you go back in time, tracing their steps. You look for a money trail as well to see if there's others connected to the crime. And then you also go forward in time. Having identified the perpetrator, having identified the victim, you go forward in time, following the money to see if there's a payoff, to see where the perpetrator goes. Does he go back to his lair? Does he catch a flight to a non-extradition country? Does he get rewarded? Does he get paid off? All of that is involved. This is a Trump Ice 2025 video for the playlist. And it's a two-parter. Because I've been doing videos on YouTube for years. The whole latter days. We are in the latter days, Mormons. The latter days are winding down. And I've been covering over 8.5K videos exposing the news, both for the government as well as for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And Mormons don't like this. Because when you're investigating a crime scene, you also take witness statements, if any. And the witnesses are not to be used as your primary source for conviction. Witnesses are used to corroborate the forensic investigation. If the witnesses say something completely contrary to the forensic investigation, then you know that the witnesses are lying to you. They are diverting you away from the actual perpetrator, the actual crime that was committed. And thus you can use interrogation to find out if the witnesses were actually involved in it, either directly or indirectly, as giving aid and comfort to the perpetrators. And this is what Mormons don't like, because there are a bunch of witnesses to church history. They are not the forensic investigation of church history. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints and the living prophets of Jesus are merely those who are giving witness statements. Now, obviously, with 200 years gone by, the prophets are quoting witness statements from 200 years ago. And in so doing, many ex-foes have found out that those witness statements have been lies. George Albert Smith, for example, claiming that Thomas B. Marsh was excommunicated on the 17th of March, 1839 by Brigham, or actually he says Joseph Smith. Joseph Smith arrested him. Still trying to wake up. Excommunicated him 17th of March, 1839. Joseph Smith, over defending his wife's honor and losing. Well, there is an official document in the government of Missouri by Thomas B. Marsh himself that contradicts George Albert Smith. George Albert Smith is a lying witness. He exposed himself as being part of the cover-up of what really happened in 1838. That's how witnesses can be exposed. or witnesses can help establish the crime scene of the forensic investigation. But witnesses are not to be trusted. So, that's what Mormons don't like. Mormons who stay Mormon believe the prophets quoting the witnesses. And even those who leave the church because they are upset with the prophets quoting witness statements. For example, Joseph Smith, as polygamist, is all based on trusting the prophets quoting witness statements, not the forensic investigation. And so the church has convinced its membership that Joseph Smith was a polygamist, and with the Saints book that got released, Joseph Smith is now an adulterer and a child rapist. And the church is coming out and saying, living prophet of Jesus, inspired by God, gift and power of God, child rapist, adulterer, and polygamist. And they say it with a straight face. They say it as if it's true. And it's all just based on witness statements who lied. All lied. Same way that you are running the test for George Albert Smith and his claim of Thomas B. Marsh. And so you begin to notice a pattern of the witness statements who all came to this valley. They all lie. Everybody under Brigham Young lies. You cannot trust anybody that came to this valley under Brigham Young. Mormon, chapter 2. And upon the plates of Nephi I did make a full account of all the wickedness and abominations. But upon these plates I did forbear to make a full account of their wickedness and abominations. For behold, a continual scene of wickedness and abominations have been before mine eyes, ever since I have been sufficient to behold the ways of man. And woe is me because of their wickedness, for my heart has been filled with sorrow because of their wickedness all my days. Nevertheless, I know that I shall be lifted up at the last day. Oh, if that were to only be true. Because I can put myself there. And upon these YouTube videos, I do make a full account of the wickedness and abominations of everybody in the world, the government, and the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. For behold, a continual scene of wickedness and abominations have been before my eyes ever since I was sufficient to behold the ways of man. I've been telling you about my childhood, being raised up in Southern California among white supremacist Christian nationalist, born-again Christians. I knew what they wanted to do when they grew up. And here they are, all growed up, and they're doing it exactly as they said as little kids. And woe is me because of their wickedness. For my heart is filled with sorrow because of their wickedness all my days. Nevertheless, I'm still hoping that I'm going to make it to Zion. And that's not going to happen because Mormons are evil. Mormon, chapter 4. And the Lamanites, in verse 10, came again upon the people, upon the Nephites to battle. And yet the Nephites repented not of the evil they had done, but persisted in their wickedness continually. And it is impossible for tongue to describe, or for man to write, a perfect description of the horrible scene of the blood and carnage which was among the people, both of the Nephites and of the Lamanites. And every heart was hardened, so that they delighted in the shedding of blood. It's coming. It's coming. Because we've been told in 3 Nephi chapter 7, it's coming. And the people were divided one against another, and they did separate one from another into nation states, and thus they did destroy the federal government of the land. And the regulations of the federal government were destroyed because of the secret combinations of friends and kindreds of those who had murdered Joseph and Hiram. They were divided into nation states. Following Lucifer. They were united in their hatred of those who entered into a covenant to destroy the federal government. So, in the news, lots of stuff's come up. And before I read it, I should remind you that Oaks got leaked. Because the majority of you are brand new to my channel and are coming to one video for the first time after all my years of all my videos. YouTube has finally slipped and allowed you to see this one video. And so you have no clue who I am. You have no clue what to expect of my channel. And you're already disappointed because I'm not doing fluffy, quick videos to keep your attention. With flashing lights of YouTube to cause seizures? Or is it just my channels that I view? I am curious, because YouTube, seriously, are intentionally flashing the home and video page picture at the top. Flashing it. That's what causes seizures, and YouTube is doing it. Is it just me, or other people, are they experiencing the same thing? Both signed in and signed out. It's doing it. YouTube is maliciously doing it. It just all of a sudden began a year or two ago. And so the only way for me to stop it is to right-click and have a video or a channel be uploaded onto a new tab. And sometimes it's only temporary, but still, YouTube is maliciously attempting to cause seizures in people who are susceptible to seizures. So I'm curious, is it just me? Is it the Mormon employee who's down in Utah County who wants to murder you by silencing me, preventing you from watching my videos? And thus, he is helping the church in their crimes against you. Or is it a widespread problem on YouTube? I am curious. Dallin H. Oaks was the speaker at a missionary meeting of new mission presidents going out into the field in Las Vegas, Nevada, Saturday, March 14th, 2020. This is why this is going to be a two-parter. Because there were two main events in 2020 that apply to yesterday's news for Trump Eyes 2025. This is not the end of the world, but merely a test. And he pulls a Hebrew chiasmus on you. A trial run for the second coming. You do know about Hebrew chiasmus, right? That there's a line and then it's reversed. So, this is not the end of the world, is with second coming, but merely a test, a trial run. Oh, wow, Oaks, Hebrew chiasmus. Church is so true. Because Hebrew chiasmus is in the Book of Mormon, even though it's the plagiarized late war. No. See, that's Mormons who want to divert away from the confession. This is a leaked confession. This is finding out who one of the witnesses are who got caught lying, and so then you bug his home, his phone, and he gets a recording of the perpetrator spilling that he is guilty and responsible for the crime that was committed. I didn't find this until late last year. The Mormon YouTube employee thought he would show me up by recommending Mormon channels and videos. Because the church is true. Here you go, Travis. He will never recommend anti-Mormon, antichrist, apostate, Korahor channel videos. Only Mormons. And so one of them happened to have been a guy who had been passed information by another YouTube channel woman, and she had found it from a missionary website of Little Sister Jessica, who had quoted her mission president's letter to parents and stake presidents. President Sister Marquis, as he was the one in that meeting, and he leaked it. And I'd already done all the videos. I'd already made the connection. I already knew that this was the case. I filed to save America in 2020 against the church. I'm the one who introduced the Insurrection Act to Bill Barr, because I knew that that's what the church was up to in 2020. The church got served on the 24th of February before Dallin H. Oaks got up and said, we are changing 3rd Nephi 17's plot to be a test run instead, so that 2024 and 2025, if necessary, after the test run, will be now 3rd Nephi chapter 7. Oaks is the perpetrator of everything that is going on around the whole world. Everything with that leak. And thus we're only focusing on the two-parter of yesterday's news. For the fall of federal government. With the Department of Education now gone, signed into law, even though it was supposed to be Congress. So this is going to be fun in the coming days. There are obvious consequences. Trump is purposely doing this in stages. He takes down one thing, and then once that is gone, then, well, since that is gone, we don't need this. And then once that's gone, we don't need this. So, having first taken out the Department of Education, well, now we don't need student loans. There's no Department of Education anymore. Students no longer get federal student loans. How are you going to pay for school? What's going to be the consequences of this? You're going to have kids who can't afford higher education. And so they don't go. Because otherwise they're going to have to pay for their education and hope that they get a job to pay for it. Otherwise, they can't go. Even with the student loans, they still had to get a job because the student loans weren't enough. But that was a past problem now. We no longer have to worry about that. And so as a result, you're not only going to get stupid people who get taught in the public school systems what the states want you to learn. Jesus, the Bible is literal history true. We're going back to the Dark Ages. Yay. Or even worse, with the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints imposing psychology backed by the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints Dark Age doctrines. And so you're going to get people who aren't going to be able to afford higher education. Higher education is going to have to start laying teachers off. As only the rich will be able to afford a higher education. They're all going to have to teach what the people want taught. Jesus! Creation was in one day. In 4004 BC, it's now before Christ again. We're replacing science. No more science, no more forensic investigation. It's not faith promoting. Finding out who are guilty of the crimes. Oaks. He's a living prophet of Jesus. He's next in line to be the prophet. He's not threatening to murder us this year 3 times now. With the second coming of Jesus, the end of the world, mass murder, and coup of the government. Here's the coup of the government. Mass murder is part 2. Trump is planning a civil war on Utah. If only. China. He got leaked because he invited Musk to be a part of it. You see, the reason why is because Musk has been working on a deal with China, a business deal. And so, because of this business deal, Trump thought it was important to let Musk in on the war strategy to go up against China. So, yay, we're going to war against China. Isn't that special? I'm sure China, now knowing that we're going to war against them, even though, if you forgot, or if you never heard it, China is already spying on the White House phones. They have places where they have interceptor signals, and they've been hacking Trump's phone and finding out all that he's planning and plotting already. So they already knew that Trump was planning on going to war against them. But now the rest of the nation now knows we're going to war against China. It's not just tariffs that Trump is doing. We're physically preparing for war. And part of that leak was also giving Boeing the contract, as Boeing kind of sucks. Their planes are falling apart. So now we're letting them, who sucks at making planes, the contract for the warplanes, the F-47s, to go to war against China now. I'm sure that will go well with our soldiers and Air Force pilots. We're going to war against China. Yeah, I want to join the Air Force and fly planes that are going to fall apart in midair. And with Musk involved, they'll probably explode in midair too. Oh, dear God. So here we go, guys. That's the war that I was wondering. When's Trump gonna start this war to divert away from all of the destruction of the federal government? When? Here it is. I told you so. Project 2025. Remember that? Yeah, it was used as the platform for Trump, and then Trump said, I don't know about 2025. I'm not using that. I got Agenda 47. I take pictures with lots of projects. Ask my lawyer. It is now halfway completed. Halfway completed in operation. I warned you. And I've traced Project 2025 back to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, to Dallin H. Oaks, former prosecutor and Utah Supreme Court Justice. I've done the research, just like I told you in the beginning. I know the perpetrators. I know which witnesses are telling the truth and which witnesses are trying to cover it up. The United States Postal Service is about to go privatized. In case you didn't know, when there's a law given to be followed and not only do the people not follow it, but the government themselves don't follow it, then the law is not the law, because nobody's following it. And so whatever people are following, that is the law. And so because nobody is following the law, and they're doing their own law, it's an oral law rather than a constitutional republic law. Nobody is following the United States Constitution. Not the people, not the federal government, not state and local governments. So the Constitution is not the law of the land, because nobody's following it. And thus there's confusion among the people as to what is the laws of the land, because the federal government don't follow the law. And so, yeah, if the Constitution is not being followed, there's no reason not to privatize the United States Postal Service. And then there are going to be consequences, just like with taking down the Department of Education. You no longer need student loans. All that money saved. And consequences will follow. But I have noticed a big change. You know, back in the early days, yeah, the Postal Service was the #1 source for receiving packages and letters and other advertising and such. And now, yeah, only when I purchase an item that is delivered by the Postal Service, I only get flyer ads otherwise. And so I don't ever need to check the mail daily. It's only when I get a package that I check my mail, because I know I'm not going to get anything. I'm not expecting anything. The majority of the mail comes through privatized companies. Amazon, for the most part. UPS used to be, back in 2015 to 2022. And then now UPS is rare. But nonetheless, that's where things are going. So, but the Postal Service, yeah, kind of need it. Because corporations will come and go. But having a stable federal government, well, nobody cares. Let's see. Trump has issued wartime authorities with 1798 or whatever year, Alien Enemies Act. And now he's denying that he signed it. We have the video clips of you signing it. We have the document of you signing it. And now he's denying it. I take pictures with lots of signed documents. Talk to my lawyer. Talk to the hand. And so you need to understand that his first administration was threatening to establish martial law. This is a step above martial law. This is Trump without authority from Congress, because this is Congress's responsibility to declare war. But since Nixon, presidential authority has been added to so that they can bypass Congress to cause wars. Enter George Poppy Bush. And then Junior, GW, and so these are used as diversionary tactics when their actual running the nation kind of sucks. So, yeah, war is the martial law. And so it's being used to, again, oh, well, now that we've established wartime, oh, the press are speaking out against me. They're leaking my war plans. They're the enemy of the people. They're working for the enemy. You see where we're going with this? Democrats in government, the deep state Dem press. Hollywood, corporations. See where we're going with this? This is a step up from martial law in the nation. And it technically began on day one when he sent the military to the border. HIV funding has stopped. He's already gutted the department that did the studies. So, yeah. Consequences. Well, that department is gone and gutted. So I guess we don't need that funding anymore. Project 2025, halfway completed. I found out on Frasier, second base is getting the top off. I never knew. Nobody would tell me. Everybody would just use the code words: first base, second base, third base, home run. I never knew and understood. I was guessing that home run meant actual sex. I never knew as a kid. Nobody told me. Here I am as an adult, and I just found out what second base means. There was your halftime comedy. I also found out from Bill Maher last night, I had just talked about this last week, earlier in the week, or the week before, something like that. It was not too long ago, where I was wondering, who is the church lady in SNL? And I thought it might have been Seth Meyers, but I didn't want to check it. And no, yeah, it's Dana Carvey. He's the church lady. He was on the show last night as part of the initial interview that they posted on YouTube. Anyway, moving on. The devil? No. Canada is getting hit hard by the tariffs of Trump. Plus, China is also attacking Canada. And so when you look back at the bigger picture, Trump, tariffs on China, tariffs on Canada, Canada financially struggling, China, tariffs on Canada. Yesterday, Trump leaked, we're going to war against China. We already have been threatening to go to war against Canada to make them the 51st state. Pay attention. If things keep getting dragged out, it will be a form of torture, like the Chinese water torture. It is intended to be dragged out. The death by 1,000 cuts. A long, dragged out torture upon the people. If we aren't going to get it done quick and over with. So, there are going to be lots of suffering, lots of casualties, lots of deaths in all its various forms. And so Canada is now losing businesses because of the tariffs. They were not prepared for this. They relied too much on America for trade. And now they are suffering and are losing businesses faster than American businesses are collapsing. But they see that it is coming, because when other countries issue tariffs on America in response, the businesses are the ones that suffer because they're not able to sell beyond America. And so they make less money. And making less money results in firings, layoffs, poorer quality products at a more expensive rate, stocks plummet, chaos ensues. And with the consumer Department of Consumer Affairs gone, buyer beware. There's a suspected terrorist attack at the Heathrow Airport yesterday that shut down the power. You're going to see a lot more of these kinds of attacks. I'm saying they need to also check out AI. AI is a terrorist malware virus. But nonetheless, let's hook it up to our nuclear power plants. Great idea. I'm sure AI won't use it against the American people and use it as weapons. The Sudan, I've been following them in the news. They couped the government. They took possession of the government yesterday, the capital. So yeah, there's wars going on all over the world. And this applies to Utah, but it's a Trump order. So should that be the transition into part 2 that will be covered in another video, because we're already at 47 minutes. So let's come back to that one, and then we'll cover the other Utah stuff. Deported gangs are not gangs. I told you. That's what Tom Holdman, whatever his name is, warned when he said there will be collateral damage. That's what he meant. The rounding up of people and getting them out of America is just to do it. They're not doing a precision deportation. This was a random gathering up and locking them up. And this is what leads into the Utah news. They are trying to claim that they're doing their part in rounding up illegals and deporting them. No. No. Because they did a chart, showed how true it is. No. They're trying to pull a fast one on you to placate Trump, to say, no, we're not a sanctuary state, even though we are. No. Because if you don't know the system in Utah, and I was going to check on this. Notice I'm not being cyber attacked yet. So, yay. Being left alone so far this morning. They're probably gonna send Google after me. This is unusual activity, Travis. A total of 27 states. Let's see. Utah private prison company returns $5 million to Mississippi. Jails. ACLU of Utah. Let's see. Increasing public accountability and transparency at jails. You're just generally talking. That was not what I wanted. List of Utah state prisons. You're not giving me the answer. Is Utah the Salt Lake County Jail privatized? Salt Lake County Sheriff's Office operates 2 correctional facilities, Salt Lake County Metro Jail and the Oxbow Jail Facility. So, no? Or is that are they just the employees for the privatization? So, anyway, regardless of the inability to give me the answer that I want, which is a problem when you're interrogating witnesses, they don't tell you what you want them to tell you. Who done it? Were you a part of it? They lie. They don't want to tell you the truth. But back in the 2000s, especially 2008, they would process 3,000 per month. Police would just lock up in the jail and process them. 3,000 per month. And there was an overcrowding problem. However, since Operation Rio Grande, should have, while I was there, now we got further delays. They intentionally cleaned out the Salt Lake County Jail to make room for the homeless, to lock them up as homeless, because it's a crime in Utah. Now it has its own Wikipedia page. 2017, Phase 1 was rolled out August 14th, 2017. Phase 1 was targeted enforcement of laws. They made up their own laws. That was just, oh my God. Phase 2 was rehabilitation of offenders. No, it wasn't. Somebody is misinforming you on Operation Rio Grande. Oh my God. That is not what happened. Let's get this for the records. But August 14th, 2017. Notice when it occurred. In the first year of King Zedekiah, king of Judah. Right before the solar eclipse. Right before the big show on the 23rd of September, 2017. Oaks confessed he's the mastermind. This was by the church's orders. They did not like the homeless panhandling at Temple Square, and they ordered the legislature, the governor, the local leaders to do something about it. And that's what it became, Operation Rio Grande. And it plays a part in the church's plot to prepare for the second coming of Jesus. Mass murderer and government coup insurrectionist, terrorist. And so the federal government, deporting gangs who are not gang members, are only claiming 40,000. Utah has 600,000 that Trump said have to go. Utah reported yesterday that they're conforming and complying. Oh yeah, 200. For the 2 months. Just 200. But they oopsied by presenting the factual documentation of it from the jails. No. See, the police, like I told you, round people up, lock them up in jail, and let the jail sort it out. 3,000 back in 2008. But since Operation Rio Grande, it's been dropping, and so they've been showing that it's only 1,000 now. That's as far as they are going normally. An average of 1,000 people get locked up in the jails in Utah. And so, yeah, you're going to have a percentage of people who are undocumented, just like back in 2008. There were people that they found out, oh, yeah, you don't have documentation. Okay. And so then they were put into the system to process them out of the country. We've been deporting illegals forever. And so, yeah, police lock you up. Oh, you're illegal. So the accusation of crime is now used as a justification to get rid of you. We accused you of a crime. Oh, you're undocumented. Out. No due process in the state of Utah. Forever been doing this. So yeah, this is why 200 for the 2 months is just by chance. They got busted by the cops, thrown into the jails, and then, oh, you're undocumented. It's the same pattern. It's not conforming to Trump. It is not ICE going in and, we got you! Because this is nowhere near 600,000. It's 200 who got caught through random lockups. That is going on normally. This is the deception that the news doesn't want you to know, because the church is true and wants their kingdom back. They will decide who gets deported. And it'll be all of us anti-Mormon, anti-Christ, apostate, Korah whores. Section 119. It's coming. Interesting how we're going back to the moon with AI permeating everything in our culture. Just saying. Isn't that neat? The first time a presidential election has AI in its programming in the voting machines. Just saying. Isn't that neat? Anybody familiar with the scandal of the original moon landing? Just saying. Isn't that neat? What was funny is that Joseph Fielding Smith Jr. wrote in one of his publications about how he said, we're never going to go to the moon. God has eternal laws that cannot be violated. And so I reminded my dad of that when Fox News, or Fox 13, here in Utah, did the nationwide show of the moon landing scandal. Did it happen? My dad was trying to say that it was fake news. Fox 13, fake news, huh? Interesting. Now they're the ones saying that everybody else is fake news. Interesting. And so yeah, I watched that, and there were some problems that I had because there were some things that were not meshing with science. I had already taken astronomy, several courses on that. I knew about the physics. I went and I deciphered Paleo-Hebrew. So yeah, there was science that was not meshing with that story. And that's why I was suspicious that there was something to their reporting, but they were not covering what I was having questions on. And so it was back probably in 2017 that I was checking on that, again being reminded of it. And sure enough, there are some problems that are not being solved by NASA. There are some things that can't happen, but yet we're being told they happened. We won't go into it. Nonetheless, isn't that fascinating? In the state of Utah, at least in, I think it's Utah County, caseworkers are now being assigned with police officers because the homeless are illegal. They're criminals. Just ask Homewrecker Mendenhall. Sister Homewrecker Mendenhall. I'm never letting you down. I'm never letting you let, whatever the phrase is. Live that down. There we go. And so KSL yesterday had a news segment about how it works. If you understand the bigger picture, if you've been listening to my videos exposing psychology, if you understand the homeless in Utah are illegal. Operation Rio Grande. Oh, okay, church orders us to do something about the homeless. Lock them up. It is horrifying that the caseworkers are insulting and degrading and debasing the homeless, with the police standing by waiting to take them to jail. Oh, dear God. They do not need people placating them, telling them that, yeah, you have a problem and we're here to help you with your problem. Oh, it is just awful. And you need to understand the homeless. They know they're being insulted. They know they're being recorded. And so they pretend to go along with it. They are not getting helped. Do not be fooled. There is no help for the poor in Utah. I did live coverage inside, undercover, in Gail Miller's concentration camp of hell of human trafficking, covering the deaths that occurred, the violence, the abuses. The homeless are not getting helped. Do not be fooled. And Utah, like other states in the Union that are about to be divided, had a town hall with a couple of their senators, congressmen from Utah, in Utah. And if you've been watching the news, you'll understand that the people are upset with MAGA. You voted for them. Now you're upset with them? Did you not read Project 2025? It was only 1,000 pages. I tried to go over it with you. I warned you in advance. I made a pretty picture. You still didn't believe, huh? You didn't listen to Mitt Romney when he said, if you voted for Trump, you deserve what you get. See ya. And remember, Mitt Romney is Mormon. Mitt Romney took over in 2022 after Mia Love gave Trump no love. And now she's got brain cancer and is near death. Very sad. I warned her. I sent her a letter. Don't let Trump do that. And she let him do it. And then she's out. And Trump insulted her on live TV. Mitt Romney comes in to replace the outgoing Hatch. And Romney has to deal with January 6th. Test run, trial run for the second coming. So this is before Mail of. Next, yeah. I'm getting dates confused here. I haven't gotten to those calendar years yet. I'm on 2018, where we last left off finishing the 3-hour 2017 calendar. But nonetheless, Mitt Romney was on the camera in the hearings of having to run for his life on January 6th. Mitt Romney, as we near the next presidential election, because I warned Mitt Romney too. I sent him letters. Mitt, second coming. Mitt. And then January 6th. And so for this presidential election, he quits. He's finally realizing what I was telling him. And he quits. He doesn't want a part of Trump's government. He knows what's coming. He knows what's expected. So the church used him to destroy the Respect for Marriage Act. See, the Democrats made you believe that it was the greatest thing that ever was accomplished. Nope. It only got passed because Mitt Romney put the church's exclusion clause. We are exempt from obeying this. And so the Republicans that Mitt Romney went to said, oh, yeah, exclusion, yeah, okay, exemption clause, got it. Yeah, we're all on board now. Yep. Hey, let's use this for all the laws. We can make the deep state downs think that we're helping them, and then pull the rug right from under them. It's the exemption clause. We don't have to follow the law. Religious freedom. Hilarious. And so, yeah, Utah town halls are getting heated. Mormons realize they've been betrayed, but they don't know the big picture and who's responsible and behind it all. Because a YouTube Mormon employee is silencing me, keeping you from hearing about it. So, pay attention. It's coming. The church is getting their kingdom back. You don't want that. God, 8 o'clock. What the hell? Oh, right. The COVID. It's official now. Lab leak. Fox News was correct from the beginning. That is so sad. It means that COVID was man-made, not naturally occurring at the supermarkets with bats. It was man-made. maliciously made and leaked. It was a bioweapon terror attack with the millions dead from it. Delane jokes. This is not the end of the world, but merely a test, a trial run for the second coming. Mass murder. That's part 2 coming up next for more details on that. YouTube is now going to restore the videos Biden told them to take down, but didn't. They made up excuses for the Mormon employee to remove the videos that exposed Nelson. Right? You're going to put those back now, huh? Because you've got them in your files, right? Or should I go back through my files in the sealed portion and repost them? It is now fact. COVID was a designed weapon. And Oaks was in charge of it. Just like I've been telling you this whole time, that YouTube used as a weapon against me to take down my videos, silence my voice, cancel my channel, denying me posting of videos, to warn you, and I was right. Coming up next. I think that's it.